Welcome to part 4 of creating formatted placemarks for Google Earth the WYSIWYG way. You may recall from tutorial number 3, we had originally created a placemark that looks like what you see on your screen in Google Earth for the Firefighters Hall and Museum in Minneapolis. Then I decided I can make it a little bit more interesting, so I changed it into this. And a lot more stuff on the screen. We moved the title up to the top. We moved these lines over here. We bolded this text. We created a bulleted list. We added some pictures, a divider line. We also made these pictures interactive. You can now click on these pictures and get what's in that picture. Takes a moment for it to load. And there's your larger picture. All the pictures on this page, let me go back to this, are interactive. I can click on any one. Notice my pointer. It changes to a hand, meaning all these pictures will link to their larger size, and I was in the process of showing you how we do that. Let's leave Google Earth temporarily and go into our Placemark editor. You'll find all the information about where to obtain this Placemark editor in the tutorial number 2 and 3. But notice its address is up here. Here it is. It's www.extraAlarm.org/EATC-online-placemark-editor.html. So here we are. We had made this changes, and let me remind you what we did. We originally had a table. Here's a table. It had one row. It had this row only while I'm showing you my mouse. It had 3 columns. This column, which was just a spacer column. This column, which contained the city, state, address, telephone number, etc., and a photograph. So I showed you how to add a row to the table. We created a row on top, and we showed you how to modify the cell properties to span columns. We also went down to the bottom of the screen and added another row here, and we told it to span columns here also. So we've learned all that so far. Now we have to learn about adding images in and making a link to those images. What essentially I want to do is it's like making pigeonholes for places to stick things. I'm using tables to define areas where I want things to be. And I'm going to put a table in the table. Oh boy. I click in this cell. I say row, add a row after. I get the row. Notice this row was spanned, so this one also becomes spanned. Across this whole row here is 600 pixels. I want to make sure that whatever I put in there, I'll check the cell properties again, gets centered. Yes, it'll get centered. And what I want to do is I want to put a table in there. A table in a table. Why? I'll show you. But I'm here in this cell. Notice my cursor is flashing. I'm in this cell. So I want to add a table into this cell. A cell can contain the whole table. I'll click New Table. Get the table properties. It's only going to have one row. It's going to have 4 columns because there were 4 pictures. 4 pictures, 4 columns. I'm going to leave the border on for right now so you can see what's going on. And I'll say alignment centered. Okay, there's our table. I think I forgot to do something. Look at the spacing here. There's extra space. I want this whole table properties, please fill that column so its width should be 600 pixels. Make it 6. Okay, now it fills the column. I want to make sure that each one of these cells is 150 pixels wide. So 150 times 4 is 600. I go cell properties, width 150. Horizontal alignment, centered. Word wrap you don't care about because you're not going to be doing any text, it's just for pictures. I'll say okay. Click the next cell. Cell properties 150. Alignment, centered. Cell properties 150. Horizontal alignment, centered. And lastly, the last cell, cell properties 150. Horizontal alignment, centered. And now we have a table with 4 equidistantly spaced cells. So the next step is to add some images. So I'll click in the first cell of this table in the table. That's row 1, cell 1 of the new table. I'll click the image tab. I've got the URL copied from my clipboard already. I'll simply paste it in. Alternative text, I'm going to call this steamer because it's a picture of steamer. I'm going to make it. The cell is 150 pixels wide. But if I make every picture 150 pixels wide, they will look like they're joined together. There'll be no space. So I'm going to make the width 145. That'll give us a little space between its picture and the next picture. We don't really, let's put a 1 pixel border around it. We'll say, okay, well, there's a picture. Let's click in cell number 2 and add a picture. Let me go to my notepad. The next one is going to be a picture of the old fire station. Let's pick it, copy it, paste it, say fire station, and width 145, border 1. And look, see there's a little white space between the pictures. That's what we want. Next, click in the cell, add an image, go to my notepad. The next one is the image you load for Gmail fire alarm box. We'll copy that and paste it in with the right click and then paste. I'll say firebox. And again the size 145. Border, I'll put a border on it, 1 pixel border. Say okay. And lastly we'll want to get another image. Go to my notepad, get the 4th one, which is a 52 Ford smoke extractor. I'll copy that, paste it in. We can say smoke extractor X, width 145, border 1 pixel. Okay, well, and there we have our 4 pictures. As simple as that. And that's why I put this table in the table, because the 4 places become containers for each one of these pictures. Now the next step in the process is, as you recall, if I clicked on those pictures, I would have them linked to the full-size image of them. Well, we haven't done anything about that yet. I'll show you how easy this is. I click on the picture. Notice it gets the sizing bar you know that's the image we're dealing with. I go to the image properties box. Here's a tab we haven't looked at before. It says link. Well, let's do this. Then I right click it, copy it. I go to the link page. I paste my link right here. That's all you have to do, because now what you've done is you've made a link to the web page on the web for that image. Okay? And here you are. Okay, so now we supposedly linked this image to the web. Let's just check it to make sure. We click our preview. Brings it up in the web page, and notice my cursor staying in there and everything else. But when I get over this picture, it becomes a hand. So I've got a link, and there's the picture. So that's working fine. So I click in this picture, it highlights, sizing bars, get the image. I simply right click, copy this, click on the link, paste that into the URL, and say okay. Got a picture. Same thing with this one. Look, wrong. Link. Right click, copy, link, right click, paste. Okay. Last one. Copy the URL. Go to the link, paste the URL in here, say paste, done. And finally this one, we did that with this one too. Link or image info, I click it, copy it, click the link tab, paste it in here. Okay, let's check it all. Let's check all these. Gives me the big size of that picture, and of the steamer, click back to that, and of the fire station, yes, and of the firebox, yes, and of the smoke extractor, yes. So that's all working. Well, we appear to be doing okay. Let's go in and just turn off the table borders and make sure this looks proper. And table properties, border size is 0. We'll turn off the table border. Okay, and we'll go and turn off the table border in this table too. Border 0. Click OK. Well, by gosh, that looks pretty good. I'm not sure I like the border around this picture. Let's just change that. Go to image properties. Let's take the border around that picture off. Click OK. Click away from it, and we'll see that's not bad. Let's check the preview, make sure this looks okay. Not bad, not bad. Okay, now there's one more thing I want to show you. What you have to do, click under the table, give ourselves a line space. I want to mention briefly about special characters, because sometimes you need to put a special character on the page. I pre-type this line, so then this will be quicker. I'll copy it, paste it in. Control V, paste. Notice it's talking about you can place a copyright or registered symbol anywhere you want. But copyright, you know, takes a special copyright symbol. So let's go get a special symbol. How do you do that? You go here to this omega sign, says insert special characters, because you need a special character underneath the covers in the code to get a copyright symbol. Let's look at it. We get the characters. Now right here in the table is the copyright. You can see, get bigger image here. Here's the copyright. But you have all kinds of special symbols you could put wherever you need to do it. Let's click the copyright symbol. And by gosh, here we have a copyright. Now let's click on registered. And I spelled it, why would it be better there? We'll put a registered symbol at the end of the D. Back to special characters. Registered symbol is right here. I say there it is. But a registered symbol is usually a superscript. So I go here and say superscript and moves it slightly up. So now we have it there. Now let's go and look at the table properties for a second. I want to show you one more thing. So here's our totally complete. We've changed what we started with in the beginning of tutorial 3 and made all the differences to get back to the way we were. And notice the nice thing about tables is, if the user sizes the page, and you never know how big the user is going to have their page, they can do this anytime they want. Everything stays right where you put it. Nothing is centered to the user's page or centered to your table because you created spaces to put them in. But I can show you one other thing. Let's say I just highlight this line that we typed. And I say center it. Okay, make it centered. Now notice, that is now centered not within the table, but within the page. So if I go to page preview and scroll down so we can see, and I size the page, notice it now moves. It might not be what you want. What you maybe want is that to be left justified. So when they move the page, it doesn't change. Well, we have one very important step that we have to accomplish, and that's we're trying to make a placemark for Google Earth. So we have to take and get the code that nobody's touched the code page. It's all happened by doing it just on the text read, dragging, dropping, clicking, filling in a form with the right thing. They haven't touched one character of code in this whole thing. I could say right click select all, or I could go into this button which also says select all. I'll select all. Copy all of this. I'll get out of the editor, go back into Google Earth. I'll make a new placemark. I'll put it in a place where I won't get confused with anything else. Have a blank description dialog box at the placemark properties. I'll paste it. Say OK. And let's click it. Well, by gosh, look at that. Now, remember I mentioned if a placemark gets longer than you can see, it gets an automatic scroll bar. And it did that. But let's see, does this work? It knows about an image. Might take a moment to bring it up. There it is. I'll go back to the placemark. Will it bring in this image? Yes, sir. Once more, let's just make sure this one works. So it's a good idea to do a QA, a quality assurance on your placemark by clicking everything you expect to work to make sure it works. And finally, this one, that's okay. It might take a second for the larger picture in this area to fill. There it is. But we know this is all working. So we changed this, tutorial 3. We changed that one into this one. And we did not write one single line of code. Let's do a quick review. You learn to do basic text formatting. Text size, text font, text color, spacing, bolding, underlining, italics, bulleted lists, dividers, pictures, then pictures side by side, pictures on a different place, tables for organizing, then you learn how to modify tables to add rows. We could have made this row here with the 4 pictures on. Let's say we had 8 pictures. We could have made it 2 rows of 4 columns and had a cluster of 8 pictures. Whatever you want. We also talked about characters that are special, copyright, registered, or anything that you need. if you can do this without writing any code, you can make a place mark of your choosing. You now have all the tools you need to make place marks. I'd like to thank you for watching this tutorial. We'll put some information on the last scene about addresses where you can email me if you have any questions. I'm 66 years old. I've been programming since 1974. I've had 3 strokes, so I got to excuse my voice for being not what it used to be when I was a 25-year-old, but I do the best I can.